friends, with you it's Andrea Purvu, and today I welcome you guys back to a new episode of the Prima Podcast. For today's episode, I have a very special episode. So yeah, long time no see, but I'm finally back, and I'm finally back with an episode that, like, this kind of format I never ever uploaded. To be fair, I think that I never uploaded because I was too scared. I was kind of scared to share my tactical opinions online, but yeah, today I'm going to do that. And basically in today's episode I'm going to say what I think that tactically were the things that went wrong in Real Madrid's game in the match against Arsenal last night in the UCL. And yeah, basically I'm just going to say what would have been my tactics if I was the coach of Real Madrid, and simply what I think it went wrong tactically about that game. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see behind me is the lineup. So I basically wrote on my whiteboard the lineup of Real Madrid in that game, and basically I didn't note down Courtois because honestly he was amazing. I have nothing to say about him, about the way he played yesterday, but I only gotta talk about the other players. So we have here Alaba as a left back, Rudiger and Asensio as center backs, and Valverde as a right back. His role here is going to be crucial, is very important. Like, remember the fact that Valverde last night was a left back. And then in the midfield we have Bellingham, we have Camavinga, Modric and Rodrigo, and in the attacking field we have Vinicius and Mbappe. So why did I say that we have to remember Valverde's place? Well, I think that basically the Real Madrid's game went, like, it was so bad because of this decision that they took right here. The thing is that they did this in other matches this season also, because they were pretty disappointed in Vasquez and they literally didn't allow Vasquez to play anymore. And I think it was quite humiliating, like asking literally Valverde, a midfielder who is not even like a defensive midfielder, he's like a regular center midfielder. He was asked to play as a left back, as a right back, just so they could not see Vasquez anymore, and just for Vasquez to not play. I mean, yeah, it's kind of humiliating, but anyways, Valverde is good in literally every single position. I really cannot wait to see him play as a goalkeeper, because I think that that is going to happen really soon, and I think that he is going to rock. But yeah, anyways, the things that they did this season, like they took this decision in the first lineup, and this strategy would have worked with many other teams, but not with Arsenal. Why, you may ask? Well, the thing is that the first half was kind of like, let's say, a perfect game. Like, specialists would call it a perfect game. Why? Specialists oftentimes call, like, the games that end up with a nil score, they call it a perfect game. Why? Because it basically describes the fact that even though the attack is good, the defense is as well good, and is like the attack is mirrored by the defense, and the midfield is mirrored by the other, like the opponent's midfield and all that stuff, and like all the movements are mirrored and nobody is able to score. And yeah, the first half kind of was a perfect game so far, we could say, you know. And yeah, that was the thing. I mean, the Arsenal defenders were very good at closing our wingers, because the attacking field was basically played by kind of like here are two wingers, right? Like Vinicius in the left wing and Mbappe in the right wing. So yeah, they were really good at closing our attacking field, and especially Mbappe. Mbappe was never, like, kind of never had a support in there in the attacking field. He, you know what I mean, he was closed very good by the defenders. So what did we need? What did we need? So basically, in my opinion, we really needed a fake 9 here for the construction, because with this lineup and with this formation we could not break through the Arsenal's defense. Since it was a perfect game, in my opinion, one of the teams were supposed to kind of surprise the defensive area, right? So Real Madrid was supposed to surprise the Arsenal defensive area, the Arsenal's defenders. And yeah, the thing is that in my opinion, with this kind of formation, that was not possible. And what did they need? They needed a construction, and in my opinion they needed a fake 9 for the construction. So here comes what I spotted in the 10th minute, I think, of the match. So as I obviously broke down so far, this formation was not going to work. But every single decision, in my opinion, you should have patience with it. I mean, even if you notice from like the 10th minute that this is not going to work, you have to have patience. So in the 50th minute, in my opinion, there should have started being changes. That was the moment when substitutions were supposed to be made. And in my opinion, I'm so sorry to say this because I love Modric. Who doesn't love Modric? Modric is a legend. What can anyone say about him, right? But the thing is that Modric, in my opinion, in the first half and in this game was not it, let's say that he was simply not it. I felt like when he was appearing, it was becoming crowded, let's say. Okay, so in my opinion, Modric was supposed to be out, and the thing is that this thing has happened, but way too late, you know. And also in the 50th minute, in my opinion, Camavinga was supposed to be substituted, because also Camavinga, I think that in the first half have made many mistakes, and not necessarily as a punishment, but I feel like he was supposed to be substituted. And here comes the important thing of this video. So in my opinion, instead of Camavinga, Vasquez should have entered, even though yeah, he's not the best at the moment. Vasquez should have entered. So I wrote here, where you guys cannot really see, I wrote the number 17, and I'm going to draw a line back to Camavinga. So this would have been the substitution. By the way, I'm going to update this map after I kind of say the substitutions. But anyways, instead of Camavinga, in my opinion, there should have came Vasquez. And instead of Modric, there should have came... Here I'm a bit skeptical. I'm not 100% sure if this substitution was supposed to be made. But I think that instead of Modric, maybe it could have came Arda Güler. Bear with me. So I know that you guys will be skeptical, and I'm also skeptical. But the thing is that basically here were two options. So we either did these two substitutions, which in my opinion I think that they would have been more optimal, let's say, or we could have done the substitution that was made in minute 75, like simply to substitute Modric with Vasquez instead of doing a double substitution. But in my opinion, a double substitution would have had a greater impact, and in my opinion it was kind of like the match where I think Güler would have done something, even though he's not in the best form, he's not playing and all that stuff. But I think that this, like with the role that I'm going to give him, he could have shown some skills, he could have done something, and I don't think that he would have made a mess out of this match anyways. But if you guys are skeptical and all that stuff, we could just remain with the substitution between Modric and Vasquez. But I'm going further in this video to talk about these two substitutions. So this is the new lineup now. So we still have Alaba, Rudiger and Asensio, but here in the defensive area we do have Vasquez, because that was the purpose of this substitution. Vasquez was supposed to enter the field on his regular position as a right back, and Valverde to go up and play in the midfield. So why was Vasquez supposed, and it was absolutely like necessary, was vital for Vasquez to play in the midfield? Well, as I already said, we really needed a fake 9 and we needed a construction, right? So after this double substitution, also Bellingham, in my opinion, should have went up, and he should have went like behind the two wingers here as a fake 9 to play in the construction, you know, to form the construction. Then Valverde's role would have been vital. Valverde was supposed, in my opinion, to do like the connection between the defensive area and the fake 9 and the wingers. So in my opinion, basically the construction would have been done by these 4 players, and like actually not the whole no. So the construction would have been done by these players right here, and basically Bellingham and Valverde would have helped with consolidating the construction and the attacking, you know, to consolidate the way of the ball from the defensive area to the attacking field. And then we would have had Arda Güler and Rodrigo. What would have been their roles in this match? So basically Arda Güler, in my opinion, should have done Modric's job, like also to help with like the ball getting to the attacking field, but basically to be, I don't know, kind of like a helper, a passer, kind of like that, doing the passes, to also consolidate the construction, but the construction is mainly formed by these players. These two are consolidating it and also have a vital role in the attacking actions, but I wouldn't say that they are the focus. They are the helpers, the saviors, let's say, and yeah, they can also help in the defensive area if there is need for them or something like that. Like, they should be pretty concentrated on the game, and to visualize the game really well and know when to get in to help or to consolidate an action or stuff like that. But yeah, I think that Arda Güler mostly would have done some passes, a few dribbles maybe, but mostly I think he would have helped with the passes. And then we have Rodrigo is also like a winger. He's also a right winger in my opinion. I mean, some people would say that he's like a regular striker, or some people would say that he's a midfielder, but in my opinion he's regular position, like the best he plays in Mbappe's spot, you know. So basically Rodrigo would have helped also in the midfield and in the defensive area, and everything that I said for Arda Güler and that I mentioned before with these two, like when I said that they are going to be the helpers and all that stuff, like he would have helped in general the team, and yeah, and would have contributed to different actions, but I think he would also break into the defensive of Arsenal. Would have broke into the defensive of Arsenal when Kylian Mbappe maybe was not paying that much attention, or maybe when there were moments when he wasn't at his best, as every player happens to be in every single match. And I think that in those moments Rodrigo could have came like a surprise and like an explosion. And yeah, sometimes when he would have felt he could have like as I said, attack, or maybe sometimes do the transfer of the ball from like the defenders to Mbappe. So I think that his role in this match would have also been as a midfielder, but sometimes I think he would have had some attacking actions, especially in the right wing. And yeah, basically this would have been it. So this is now the new lineup. It's like the formation is a 4-3-1-2, and the defensive area is the defensive line is formed by Alaba, Rudiger, Asensio and Vasquez. The midfield is formed by Valverde, Arda Güler, Rodrigo and Bellingham, who would play as a fake 9 behind the attacking line, which would have been formed by Vinicius and Mbappe. So yeah, this would be the lineup. Now I'm going to also add a bonus, which I think would have contributed in a way to the game, something that actually happened, and it was great. So in the minute 85th, Brahim Diaz entered the pitch and Rodrigo left the pitch. And yeah, basically this would have been a substitution that I would have made also, because kind of like we would have brought Brahim Diaz to kind of like continue Rodrigo's job with fresh forces. And yeah, so also if you want, here we have Brahim Diaz in minute 85. So yeah, the thing is that Real Madrid done the substitution between Vasquez and Modric, but they did it way too late. They did it when like it was minute 75, I think, somewhere around there. I think a little bit before the third goal, so it already didn't matter. This substitution was supposed to be done in like minute 60 in my opinion, and maybe the game would have changed. I don't think personally that the 3 goals would have been scored anymore. Okay, so now I'm editing and I just realized that I wanted to say something, but I said the complete opposite thing by mistake. So basically what I meant was the fact that even if these substitutions were made, still Declan Rice would have scored those 2 goals, because they were simply unstoppable. They were from free kicks. There was nothing you could do about it. Simply Declan Rice was too good. So those 2 goals were anyways scored. Like, that these tactics wouldn't have changed those 2 goals, because Declan Rice's goal and like his 2 goals, those couldn't be stopped. Nobody could have done anything about them. They were simply fantastic, and in my opinion that was probably the peak of Declan Rice's career. But maybe Mourinho's goal could have been stopped, but I don't think so either, because that was also like a moment of, it was a moment of light, you know. It was a moment, you know. It was an explosion. I think that couldn't have been stopped either. But let's say in an optimistic way that maybe the 3rd goal could have not been scored, and maybe Real Madrid could have scored 1 or let's say 2 other goals. I think personally that with this lineup and with these tactical changes, maybe Real Madrid could have scored at least 1 goal. And also I think that if they would have scored 1 goal, kind of like things would have changed, and maybe they could have gained back confidence and get to score the 2nd goal. And also maybe Mourinho wouldn't have that moment of light when he would have scored the 3rd goal. So I think overall, let's say that on a realistic way, with these tactical changes, I think that Real Madrid, like the final score would have been 2-1 for Arsenal, realistically speaking. But if we are optimistic, we could think about a 2-2 or a 3-2. So yeah, overall that was kind of it. I also wanted to mention the fact that I really liked Alaba's comeback. I mean, I really liked him in this game, even though he was substituted around the minute 80 or something. But yeah, I really liked him in this match, and I kind of missed Alaba playing. And yeah, that was kind of it. So yeah, the first leg of the Arsenal and Real Madrid match in the UCL was not the best, but I'm sure that this is not going to be the final outcome. And yeah, I'm rooting for Real Madrid to manage to win the next game, but yeah, we will see. The last thing that we can do is hope. And yeah, Hala Madrid! Guys, I literally realized in the ending of this video that I could have worn my Real Madrid jersey and my Real Madrid cap, but anyways, yeah, I'm going to do the outro with this. Hala Madrid. And yeah, so I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends if you think that any of this information might be useful to them, comment down below any suggestion for me to improve and stuff like that, and subscribe to keep in tune with all of my uploads. Okay you guys, bye!